Welcome to the It Gets Better From Here podcast, where we help divorced women rediscover their true self, reclaim their power, and rebuild a life even better than before. I am a transformational coach, a founder, and your host, Sherille Marquez. I understand firsthand the post-divorce struggles because I have been there myself, and now I am showing you the way forward. If you like this episode, please be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Thank you for being here. This week, we're going to dive into a question that I get a lot, which is, how do I find my true self after divorce? First of all, that whole thing is wrong. You do not find anything. You don't find yourself because your true essence has always been there. You are a pure and whole and perfect being. And it's the conditioning, programming, life experiences that has disconnected us from the truth of who we are. We are going to rediscover your true self, not find who you are. And that starts with self exploration. That's a pretty tall order for many of us because it's very hard to face ourselves. And that is why, if you are someone that, like me before, a long time ago, even before I was married, I could not be with myself by myself. I always had to be around people, friends, family, you name it. And silence was really uncomfortable for me. So I really had to always be with people. I had to have the TV on, the radio on. It's just the silence was too much to bear for where I was at back then in life. Fast forward to after my divorce, I was so disconnected from myself. I did not even know what paint color I liked. My brother and my sister had such a wonderful idea to do a home makeover for me and give me a fresh new beginning, at least within my living situation. And so they were asking me, "So, what style do you like? What colors do you like?" And I could not even, I didn't even know. I didn't know what paint I liked. I had no style. It's just, I left it up to them. I said, honestly, it's whatever you guys want. And so my sister sat me down and she said, it's not what we want, it's what you want. And as you start rebuilding yourself and your life, you're going to start to figure out what it is that you truly love, even when it comes to something so minor, but it's actually a big thing, like painting your walls. If you want to rediscover your true self, your first step is to validate your feelings. It is so natural, so normal. It's part of the human experience to feel lost. Ask yourself this: how many times in your life did you really know what the hell you were doing? I mean, even as adults, we have so much uncertainty and confusion. Even when you think you've got it all figured out, oh, here's the next challenge for you. What do I do with this job offer? What do I do with this potential partner? How am I going to guide my children in this next stage of their life? It's a natural part of the human experience to feel lost and uncertain. And you have to start embracing and accepting that that's where you're at. All my life, before I got a divorce, I always knew what I was doing. I am a very driven, ambitious, goal oriented person. And so I had clarity and direction in what I wanted to do, what my goals were, and the steps that I needed to get to that goal, at least, a good beginning and a good start. Well, after my divorce, my gosh, my compass was so broken. I made a lot of bad decisions, not even me initiating it. It's just me responding to being at the wrong place, at the wrong time, and with the wrong people. If this is you, at least have the awareness that wow, my body, I am feeling it in my body. My intuition, my inner compass is telling me that I'm uncomfortable. I'm not supposed to be with this person. I'm not supposed to be in this situation, and accept where you are. And that's how you begin to at least get to a place where you know exactly what you want to do, where you want to go. And that begins the process of rediscovery. What really helped me during this time when I was going through that deep self exploration and trying to rediscover who I am, my true self, is that I started journaling. I started reflecting on past experiences, not to re engage or rehash bad memories. It's just, what did I like? Who was I before I got married? Who was I before I was given all of these, I want to say identities and programming? Like, Cheryl is an ambitious person. Cheryl is someone that gets shit done. Anything that she puts her mind to, she gets done. But those are things that, again, we have been programmed to think, believe about ourselves. And at some point in time, those things may have served us for a certain period, but then it starts to not feel right. And when I say not feel right, I was so very caught up with making the right choices. Yes, perfectionism, that I remember I failed a test. Okay. I'm going to call myself out here. I failed a test. I thought I was going to be a financial advisor, or at least in business development and finance. Number one, I don't like finance. I love people, as you can tell. And I took this test because I thought that that was where, my route was going to take me in life, that was going to be my career. Well, I studied for this test, Series 7, if you know what that is. It's pretty intense. And by sheer will, I passed the first test. There's 3 tests. The second test, which is the Series 7, I studied for. I mean, when I say I studied for, I focused, and I missed out on life. I missed out on events. I mean, like I said, I missed out on life, and I was okay with that because that was my focus. That was my goal. So I took the test, and with all the freaking manifestations I was doing, all of the 36, is it 369? Yes. Tesla, it's like standards, basically. Like, I will pass this test, I will pass this test. That shit did not do anything for me. Not the studying, not the manifestations, not the standards 369. I forgot what you call that, but none of that worked because it was not right for me. I was in so much pain, really, and suffering internally because I did not like this. I didn't like studying. I didn't like the text, like the context. It was so dry, and it was a horrible experience. So my son even told me one time when he saw me studying, he said, "Wow, you look miserable. I never want to do what you're doing." And I was like, "Whoa, okay, that's a sign." Let me tell you the other sign. 2 more signs, okay? The other sign was that my body was telling me I was in so much stress. I got 2 blind pimples. If you don't know what blind pimples are, they're painful, and they're pimples under the skin, and they're pretty massive. So, not for vanity's sake that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting this blind pimple. I got 2 back to back. My point with noticing the blind pimple is that, holy shit, if this is happening and showing me on the outside, what is it doing on the inside of my body? It's in so much chaos and stress, and definitely not homeostasis. So I had to really pause and tell myself, okay, what are you doing? The other sign, here's the big sign: I failed the test. I failed the test. I missed it by 8%. And the Cheryl that I've known all my life, I would have just brushed that off and said, okay, well, maybe it's not today. But because I was so caught up in perfectionism, I was so caught up in how I was going to be perceived as a failure, as somebody dumb. I just, it crushed me. It crushed me so hard. I became a couch potato for 2 months. Journaling was a huge part of this process during the time when I was like, now what the hell do I do? Am I going to be a couch potato for the rest of my life? Like, I was Netflixing and chilling and postmatesing so hard. I spoke to a spiritual advisor I had at the time, and I was saying, is this me? Like, is this the new me right now? Because I'm not sure I can deal with this. And she said that that's not who I am. It's a moment in time. So, what I needed to do was, like, the topic of this week's episode is to find out who I truly am. And this is why I'm telling you that journaling your past experiences, what's brought you joy, is going to help you start piecing the puzzles together. Recently, what I like to do actually is reflect back on my past journal entries. And recently, I just turned to a page randomly on my journal, and I was honestly moved to tears. Just even thinking about it right now, I'm getting emotional with how much I have grown in such a short amount of time. And when you do this practice, and you reflect back at how far you've come, you are going to be so proud of yourself. And at that moment when you feel like giving up, and when you read a past entry for where you were at back then, when you never thought that you could actually get through that moment in time, and you do, that tells your body, that tells the universe that you are on the right path. You might not understand it at this moment in time, but the dots will connect, and it's going to tell your subconscious mind to keep going. You might have heard people say, practice mindfulness. And there is something specific within that practice of mindfulness called self awareness. The reason why you want to practice mindfulness is to get to know yourself. You want to do the best that you can to stay in the present moment, to pay attention to how you are showing up in life. I was not a self aware person years ago. In fact, I had a pretty hard and toxic relationship, and that person opened my eyes to so many ways that how I was showing up in the relationship, just in life period. And he told me, you don't even know what you're doing, you don't even know how you're showing up. And that really struck me as like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But it, resonated. It planted a seed, and I'm like questioning, like, what does he mean? And you know what? He was right. I had no idea how I was showing up within the relationship. I did not even really know what I was saying about certain things. It's like I would say it and then not remember. Why? Because I wasn't present. My mind wasn't there. In fact, one of my favorite books is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I have it in Audible. I have it on YouTube. I have it on a hard copy. And I want to read something to you, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, that is perfect for this topic this week. The best indicator of your level of consciousness is how you deal with life's challenges when they come. Through those challenges, an already unconscious person tends to become more deeply unconscious, and a conscious person more intensely conscious. You can use a challenge to awaken you, or you can allow it to pull you into even deeper sleep. The dream of ordinary unconsciousness then turns into a nightmare. I have had both. I have been in a nightmare, and I have also been in what feels like a dream life. When you choose to do the inner work, the shadow work, which, please know this, it's gonna suck, okay? That's not fun. But who you become in the process, what your life can look like on the other side, is so worth it. And it is so freaking beautiful. That's how I feel about my journey and my life today. Once you start putting all of these practices into place that I have just shared with you, it's time to live your truth. It's time to step out into this world and live your life as authentically as possible. And know that when you live life authentically and you start to become self aware, know that your friend group will most likely shift. You might offend some family as well or friends that are used to you being a certain way. And you know what? That's okay. Live your truth, live your life authentically, and the right people will be there for you. You'll meet new ones, you'll drop old ones. But the most important thing is to honor yourself, show up authentically for yourself first and foremost, and for the world. We need more of that. So, this is how you begin the process of rediscovering your true self. Thanks for joining me today on It Gets Better From Here with Sherille Marquez. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and also share this information with friends, family that might be on a journey of self-discovery. Until next time, remember, no matter where you are in life, no matter how old you are, it gets better from here.